Let's discuss it over dinner. I'm starving. I'll go inside and get a bottle of water and a bag of chips for her. It's a real shame, you know." "Yeah, what is?" "That the water and chips will be her last meal." Robert chuckled. "Go on, get her snacks and let's go. There ought to be a decent restaurant downtown somewhere." Tony dropped his cigarette and ground it into the dirt. "I'll be right back." Robert called out before his brother rounded the building. "Get a 12-pack of beer, too. Make sure it's cold. I'll keep my eye on the car." Back in the vehicles, Robert led the way downtown. He looked to the left and right, hoping to find a restaurant with a decent but not overly expensive hotel attached. They planned to eat dinner, check in, then have fun with the woman before killing her and getting rid of the car. Tomorrow morning they would continue their journey north. The car idled at the red light. Downtown Evansville was busy with people out for dinner and walking Wabash Avenue. Robert glanced down the side streets in both directions. Thumping sounded from the trunk. Soon enough, that woman would become more of a liability than a plaything. She was making too much racket. He needed to rethink the plan and get out of that overly populated area. A restaurant and a hotel in a seedier part of town would make more sense, a place where undesirables stood at street corners and that normal people didn't frequent. Robert rolled down his window and stuck his head out. Tony, behind him in the truck, did the same. "Downtown isn't going to work. Keep following me." Tony gave Robert the thumbs up. The light turned green, and they continued on. Beyond the university, away from the crowds and bright street lights, Robert found exactly what they needed. He drove slowly past the entrance to make sure. Garbage littered the sidewalk, even though a garbage can stood at the corner. The building's facade had missing bricks, and the windows looked as if they hadn't been washed in years. The thought of sleeping in one of the beds disgusted him. The chance of the night clerk caring about his ID and vehicle plate number was slim, and the chance of there being a video camera in the building was even less likely. City Hotel would be home for the night. Robert turned at the end of the block, pulled into the small parking lot, and killed the engine. Tony parked and got out right behind him. He checked their surroundings. Dark, sketchy, and depressing. "We're seriously stooping to a shithole like this tonight?" "Sure are, bro. It doesn't look like anybody in this neighborhood gives two shits about anything. It's the perfect place to ditch the car, too. It will be stripped down before morning. Go ahead and check in. I'll pull our gear out of the back of the truck." Tony returned 5 minutes later. "Man, that place is rough, and the desk clerk? He looks like a meth head that hasn't slept in a week. Anyway, we go through the side door in the alley and up to room 7 on the second floor." With their arms loaded, they entered the alley. Rats scurried and ran behind the garbage cans when the men got too close. They passed an overhead delivery door cut into the bricks, then saw another door halfway down the building. Tony jerked his head in that direction. "This has to be it." He propped the cooler on his knee and turned the key in the lock. It turned, and he pulled the door toward him. A single light bulb above the creaky staircase cast shadows on the dirty walls. Tony called out a warning as he grasped the handrail. "This sucker's loose. Don't put any weight on it." They reached the second floor. Sounds of loud TVs, headboards banging against walls, and people yelling came from each room they passed. Robert smirked. "I guarantee you, brother, we're going to be invisible here." Room 7 was at the far end of the hall on the left. Tony inserted the key in the lock and gave it a clockwise turn. He pushed the door open with his foot. Smells of stale beer, stale cigarettes, and stale body odor wafted into the hallway. "Jesus, this place stinks." Robert jerked his head back with disgust when the vile odor hit him. He reluctantly entered the room and flipped on the light switch. "Yeah, I'm thinking I'll sleep on the chair. I can't imagine what's been in those beds." He crossed the room and pulled the cord on the roller shades, then pushed up the window. "This place needs a good airing out." A cool nighttime breeze came in as Robert stared at the landscape beyond the stench they had just walked into.